This show is sponsored by Alicia's Pillows and Things. Check out the Facebook page, Alicia's Pillows and Things, where you will find home decor you will not be able to resist at prices anybody can afford. Check out the pillows and stools of your favorite sports teams. Maybe you want a set of your kid's favorite cartoon or movie character. You can also get full body and neck pillows as well. Log on to ngscsports.com and go to the Alicia's Pillows and Things tab on the homepage to complete your order. It makes a great gift for Christmas at an affordable price. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
They're like 12 and 14 or 12 and 15 right now.
God, I guess they've been playing for almost 2 months now.
They're about halfway, a little more than halfway through their schedule, I think.
Wow. That is nutty. All right, you want to get started?
Check one. What's it all about? Check two. I ain't got no doubt. That's me freestyling. That's as far as I can. That's literally as far as I can go on a freestyle.
I appreciate it. That was quite lovely, though. Hey, everybody. This is getting randomly inserted, I assume, at the end of the podcast. So you already, yeah, it's post pod. So you already got your spoiler warnings because we're about to talk heavily about Captain Marvel. We told you we were going to do this last week, so we are going to get to it right now. First of all, good movie. I don't know that I necessarily go great. I would say, and I mean this in a really good way. I feel like it'll come off as a diss, but I don't mean it. About Ant-Man level quality. And I also really like Ant-Man. I know a lot of people don't totally care for it.
Solo different.
I think Ant-Man's really good. And I thought this one, not the same tonally, but I thought this was at a similar quality. Like, I wouldn't call this wasn't Winter Soldier, Civil War. This wasn't Black Panther. This wasn't Ragnarok even. I think it's below all those, but it's definitely above like the second and third Iron Man, probably the first two Thors. I don't know if we count the Hulk movies.
Yeah, Hulk movies like hard to really talk about because it was like just so like if it was made now, that movie would be so much different.
Oh yeah,
and probably much more better.
Yes, very much more better.
Yeah, but they were still really early in the whole process then. And, yeah, but I mean, it was good.
It was solid.
I mean, I came out very happy and obviously with the post-credit scenes excited.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it wasn't. I don't think it's.
I think
it deserves the panning that it's getting from a lot of people.
I think one thing that happened is we got used to, with the exception of Black Panther, we had a stretch of like non-origin stories, like with Ragnarok, with Civil War. Right. It's like, besides Spider-Man getting introduced in Civil War, we knew these characters.
Right.
And also, I forgot Homecoming was just phenomenal, but that was, at another level.
Right. And we could just like jump right into the story and we didn't have to do anything. That said, I'm a huge fan of a good origin story.
Oh, sure.
Because that's just me in general. I want to know the history. I want to know, I mean, when I meet somebody, and I get talking to somebody, they're like, well, say, where'd you go to high school? Hey, where'd you do? Did you play baseball? Did you, who's your football team? I like stuff like that. I like learning about people and finding things out. I found out one day producer Jackie's a Yankee fan. I still like her.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think she that's fine.
She didn't hear that. I don't respect that about her at all.
Sure. Understandable.
She's a horrible person for it. She literally, she's sitting 5 feet away from me and did not hear anything I said. That was awesome.
Perfect. Perfect. We need to do this more often. But no, I think that's why is and we had also just a really good streak of movies. Like, I don't have the exact order in front of me, but I mean, we've had, again, Black Panther, Ragnarok, Civil War, and Homecoming. I believe
and you had the Guardian movies in there.
Yeah, Guardians 2. All of those came after Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
So that was, I think, the 5 we had. I don't think
we'll just say since Age of Ultron, I mean, they were on a tear. They were on a tear with those movies after Ultron.
So
because Ultron could still come or go, I don't care. But.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel so bad they got rid of Quicksilver in that movie.
Yeah,
because I thought he was really cool,
and I thought he could have done some stuff.
Yeah, but he was cool. But so I think at some point we were just at such a high level pace that anything that didn't match that, which is, again, really hard to do, was going to be seen as not as good. I still think overall it's a solid movie. It's also one of the better origin stories, I would say. Like, I think it's, in some ways, like, it's better than Captain America 1. I liked Captain America 1. I'm not, I know you're a very big fan of World War II and those kind of things. I'm not the hugest fan of period pieces, so I didn't love it. I liked it. I also feel like Hugo Weaving kind of phoned it in a little bit as Red Skull, so that kind of pisses me off.
He could have been so great, too.
But,
he had all the makings to be great.
Yeah, which is why I never expected Red Skull to show up in fucking Infinity War.
Even though it's no longer Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, I know.
It's the dude from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
It's Aaron! I can't remember his name.
But overall, I thought it was a good movie. The other comment I saw a lot of people put out was they didn't think Brie Larson was charismatic enough. I didn't really buy that a whole lot. I thought she was good. There were definitely times where she was sort of blank slatey a little bit, but I feel like she had her moments.
But isn't that kind of the character of Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. We're wanting her to be funny like Thor and, charismatic and witty like Iron Man. And, that's what we want. But, I mean, I'm not a comic book guy. I really like the movies. But from everything I've ever heard about Captain Marvel, she was just like this,
she's a
really
dick.
By the book, by the business, kind of a smart ass, but not in a funny way, smart ass. She comes across as, she comes across as a bitch.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Yeah, she's straight up a dick, especially if you in the second version of Civil War they did pretty recently. Like, she has some big asshole moments in that one.
Yeah, I mean, she's an asshole. So, we just bet. I think a lot of this comes from the fact that the casting of Brie Larson herself, because Brie Larson splits a lot of opinion. See, that's one thing about most everyone that you've seen in these Marvel movies. When they came in, I think people had a positive...
neutral to positive
view of them. You can look at Chris Evans and be like, oh, God, Fantastic Four. I mean, there's some of them you could kind of be like, but I don't think there was any, real dislike.
No.
Brie Larson has just had some moments that have seriously chafed people the wrong way. And when she got it, it was immediately... I don't like this bitch. I ain't gonna like this movie because of this bitch. And Brie, I'm not calling you a bitch. I'm also not hitting on you in the airport. I swear to God, I will never, ever.
Ever.
Promise. But
no, I think you're right though.
She is a borderline unlikable person. Yeah. To a lot of people. And, I mean, that's just how it is. If you don't like a particular actor as a person, I mean, a lot of them, you just don't get into their movies.
Well, and this was, I think I'm getting this right. This was the movie that made Rotten Tomatoes say, okay, we're no longer allowing comments of the movie before it gets released.
Right.
Because people were bombing this movie sight unseen. A lot of that because of that.
Right. All because of Brie Larson being the lead in it. And that's just one of those. That's just one of those things that this movie has had to deal with. But I went in. I'm gonna tell you. I mean, I knew. I'm not one of those people. I don't know everything everybody does, but I knew she had some moments. And when I found out, it's gonna be Brie Larson, I was kind of okay. But I mean, I still went in. I go into a movie, and if I'm paying my money to go see a movie, I'm going in with the attitude of, all right, you know what?
Give it a chance.
Innocent till proven guilty.
Sure.
show me something. And I came out of that movie going, damn, I'm ready to go see it again. And this week I will go see it again. So, by the time you're hearing this, I've seen it again this week. So, a lot of personal, nothing to do with Marvel feelings, I think, really went into this movie. Has been an issue.
Also, I would say, like, as dumb, potentially, is a way to call them, as some of the comments she made, I also wouldn't say, I mean, this is not like they cast Bill Cosby. Or they cast something like this is not someone who has actually necessarily done terrible things.
Right.
She may have said some stupid things.
Right.
But she's not like, oh God, this is, she was accused of doing coke or something.
Well,
by the way, Robert Downey Jr. did.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, Jesus Christ, Robert Downey Jr. is like the lead of this entire thing.
Yeah. This has literally been Robert Downey Jr.'s redemption arc.
Robert Downey Jr. has like literally snorted my weight in cocaine over the years. And he is great, though. We still love him.
Absolutely.
I mean, God, Charlie Sheen, I mean, is still somewhat likable.
Yeah. Almost.
Johnny Depp is likable. I mean, there are people who have done bad things that Brie Larson has not done. But, and also, we've hit that time here in the world where we're so PC about everything, and just little things just get so overblown in the public eye. Where if it had happened 10 years ago, it'd be like, all right, whatever, just go on with your lives. Sure. But nowadays we can't let anything go. No, we have to overanalyze.
Never ever. So that's everything around the movie. Let's talk about the movie. And as much as we just talked about Brie Larson, I believe Goose is the best character in the movie by far.
Well, obviously by far.
Obviously, that is the true Captain Marvel right there. Is Goose.
I literally came into your house today and quietly crept up to try to pet your cat.
Yeah.
And which she actually let me.
Yeah? Until you spilled ice.
Yeah, no, spilled ice and it was over.
It was a lot further than you've ever gotten. Very pretty.
Except for the time you handed her to me for our show, and she just sat there with a terrified glare on her face.
Great.
Like,
I watched that a couple weeks ago. That was still great.
Cat's like, I'm going to murder you in your sleep. I want you to know that.
No, but I thought the movie was really good. I will say the only thing I kind of didn't like about it is I guessed, or not even guessed the twist, but I figured out the twist very early. As soon as they went into that first mission and they talked about, what's his face? Dude from Guardians of the Galaxy. Ronan the Accuser.
Yeah.
As soon as they called him the Accusers, I was like, oh, wait, these are the bad guys. Yeah. Oh, no. And then everything went kind of fine. I was like, okay, well, maybe they're still going to do it because I know the Skrulls are bad from the comics, so maybe that's what they do. And then the twist happened. I was like, oh, okay, so that is how they were going to do it. Because I was like, is this going to show how the Accusers became bad? And it's like every time they showed Ronan, it was like, no, he's still kind of an asshole. Yeah. This is not good.
And then you kind of realize by the end, it's like, oh, they've always kind of been bad. Actually. Yeah. They're dicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though, I will give that group, I think they're called, and folks, we have no notes in front of us.
We're doing this from memory.
Not how we do this. Star Force?
Sure.
I believe was the name of their team.
Yes.
They are basically like the SEAL Team 6
yes,
in the universe.
They were.
I mean,
they were cool.
When they came out of the water, I was like, SEAL Team 6, SEAL Team 6, SEAL Team 6, SEAL Team 6.
And Wes loves him some SEAL Team 6.
Oh, SEAL Team 6. Those are my guys.
But
I just don't know.
No, they were that group was actually really cool. I'm a little upset that we basically got them in the very beginning and then at the very end.
Yeah,
that was a little disappointing. But they were, and that I think made the twist impact a little less strong because while we do have a little bit of connection with Jude Law, and again it was mostly just over the phone throughout the movie. It did make the twist not hit us because we didn't care, or at least I didn't really care about that team a whole lot.
Right.
So it wasn't like, oh, we have this strong bond. Oh no, you've betrayed. It's like, oh no, you are actually the bad guys. So
and early on I saw the dude who was like Ronan's kind of key guy that we saw in Guardians.
Jimon Hunsu.
Yeah.
Whatever his actual name of the movie is. Yeah.
And immediately I'm like,
yep.
He's a bad guy. Wait a minute. I've seen him try to kill my beloved Star-Lord. What the hell's going on here? But, it did give a really cool... I think it gave a really cool background as to what kind of a warrior she actually was.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, okay, it established really quick, okay, she is a badass.
Yeah, because we know how strong this guy is.
Exactly. We know how strong these guys are. And we can see really quick how strong this group is. And she's kind of like the standout, She's not the leader of it, but that's because she's kind of a maverick, wild chick. But you could see very early, it gave you, it's like, well, this is the best of the best kind of in the galaxy, and she's kind of their badass.
Absolutely.
Okay, we get where she stands,
Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury comes back in his young self.
2 eyes.
2 eyes for 90% of the movie. The funny thing is, and I'm gonna return to this kind of thing later. Is because it's set in the 90s, and you know that from that point on we've always seen him with an eye patch. So you're just waiting for the shoe to drop of how does he lose the eye? And there's a couple times in fights, and he's like, this one's good. No, there's just cat scratched out his eye.
And then how it happens is just awesome. That's amazing.
That's amazing. It's the only way it could have been done.
You find out that it's old goose.
Yeah. But I thought Nick Fury was really good. Samuel L. Jackson, another good turn. One name producer Jack and I talked about this a little bit when we came out of the movie. The digital editing they had to do to his face to make him appear younger, not that noticeable. Actually thought they did a very good job. And I was also to the point where we couldn't tell if they had done it to Coulson as well, or if they just gave him like a different haircut. But you can obviously, because we've seen Samuel L. Jackson. If you've watched any of the NCAA basketball coverage, you've seen Samuel L. Jackson. In present day,
if you've watched any movie in the last 20 years, you've seen Samuel L. Jackson as well.
By the way, Shaft movie's coming out.
Bad mother.
Shut your mouth.
Thank you.
I can dig it.
Love it.
Really good. That's going to be another thing. But he was really good. I thought his turn and learning more about his backstory, about what his mom calls him, that was really good. Everybody just calls me Fury. I thought their rapport was really good. I thought Fury and Captain Marvel's rapport was really good. I thought, and back to a little bit about her being kind of a blank slate, I kind of thought that was okay because we got to learn about her the way other characters interacted with her, especially Nick Fury, who's part of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they don't really know about extraterrestrial threats at this point. Having to kind of be like, okay, yeah, sure, and then it's like, oh, you have like a space weapon. Okay, you're actually telling the truth now, and then her going back to save him. When they're in the warehouse at the Air Force Base.
Well, and seeing, one thing about Nick Fury is like Nick Fury has always come off as almost like this infallible character where, Nick Fury doesn't make mistakes. Everything. No. Well, he made mistakes in this movie. He called in backup that basically got them and all that shit down at the warehouse site here that you were just talking about. He had times where you're like, what the hell are you doing, Fury? And I like that because that actually humanizes Nick Fury more. And you can now look into the future, or you can look back at these other ones that we've seen where you're like, damn, he's just a cold-blooded, heart. And you kind of understand, you're like, he wasn't always this way. No. He's had to evolve into this to do what he has to do. He can't be everybody's buddy anymore. He can't be that guy. So I liked that part of seeing, the younger Nick Fury, the younger, almost more innocent Nick
Fury.
Green. A little green. I mean, even though he was already kind of a high up, obviously. But, he didn't, he at that point also didn't have the experience that he now has leading the Avengers Initiative.
Well, and we actually get to see in this movie the start of the Avengers Initiative. I don't remember the first title he used for it before changing it to the Avengers Project.
I cannot remember.
Something not as good, obviously.
Wasn't as cool. Wouldn't be anything you would get tattooed on your body.
I believe we get our final Stan Lee cameo in this movie. Also, a nice little tribute to him at the very beginning, showing off instead of how we normally do at the beginning of a Marvel movie with the scenes from a bunch of different movies. Just all of his cameos from the time. That was really nice.
Now, did they say he definitely is not going to be in Endgame?
I don't know. I feel like I remember somebody saying this was his last. I don't know if they said this was the last one he filmed, or if this was his last appearance. I imagine. Here's the thing, because I could imagine a world where they shot one for Endgame. Before they were doing Captain Marvel. So I could see something like that happen where this could have been maybe just the last one that was shot.
Just very quickly, I'm seeing somebody say that yes, he pre-shot his cameos
in Endgame.
Yes, for Endgame.
Okay, so there you
Yeah. Apparently, apparently he may be in Far From Home as well.
Oh, okay.
So,
I'm big excited about that movie.
oh yeah, it's gonna be good.
But back to this one. So that was in there. Annette Bening, I believe is who plays the Supreme
Yes.
Intelligence. Great job by her. And what also could have been a fairly bland role, but brought a sense of, I don't want to say coldness, but she brought a very, in what should be just a machine AI,
Right.
she brought first a little bit of a level of warmth. And then when the turn happens at the end, there is a level of coldness
Cold.
that isn't machine cold. It is actually like an evil cold.
Right.
So I thought Annette Bening, did a great job as the Supreme Intelligence, which has a much dumber name in the comics, and I forgot what it's actually called. It's not Sinestro. It's like Supremo or something. It's really stupid. So this was a lot better.
Supremo. It's from like a Speedy Gonzalez cartoon.
And we also get the relationship between why am I playing Carol Danvers
Right.
and Monica Rambeau,
Right.
and we see her re-enter her life after Rambeau has spent, I believe, 7 years thinking that Carol Danvers.
I think it had been 7 years, 7 or 8 years, yeah.
So that's, and now Rambeau has a child that she's grown up. She saved a lot of Aunt Carol's stuff,
Right.
And so that whole reintroduction plays, and we get to see again a lot of what Carol is played off in how others react to her, and Monica Rambeau is another form of that.
And of course, just you've got to figure based off that you're going to see something. You'll probably see something with the Rambeau family. Mm-hmm. Not John. John's somewhere. And the last time we saw John, I believe he was in Thailand. And so John Rambeau.
That is
not
a
Cody,
different
not
Rambeau.
Sheriff on this. Favorite Rambeau, but still. Ah! Now looking at Endgame coming up, that's basically 20, 25 years after these events. Are we going to get a grown-up daughter Rambeau?
And there has been some talk that she has been a character in the comics. The daughter has, as her own kind of powerful figure. I forget exactly what her name is, but she could potentially have something to do with it if she survived the snap.
There you go.
We don't know. And that could be something that gets brought up in Endgame, is because I can't imagine Carol Danvers has been back to Earth since she left at the end of the movie.
Right.
So, I'm sure that's going to be one of her first questions after, of course, Where is Fury, which we got in the in the post-game trailer. Post-movie trailer.
Post credit.
Yes.
That was the mid credit.
Yes, the mid-credit. Because the end credit was just amazing. So that, I imagine that will probably be touched on in Endgame. I don't know. Then of course we get the final fight where she fights Jude Law, who had been her mentor, and they fight it out in the desert. And of course, the moment we all knew was going to happen, and still when it did happen, it was super satisfying. Was him telling her to stop using your powers. I'm throwing away my gun. Just fight me, person to person. You don't need to do all this. Blah blah blah. Just fight me. And then she just like vaporizes him into the wall.
Yeah.
It's like, nope. That's exactly what she. Because why? Why should she fight him fairly? Fuck him. You have these superpowers. Use them. Like, it just, you don't need, and I thought it was great because you don't need to prove yourself to him.
That was the patriarchy talking.
Yes.
Right.
But I thought that was a
That was Jude Law's toxic masculinity.
Yes.
Yeah. How dare you fight me fairly?
He got blasted into the wall.
Seriously. It was a very satisfying end to that movie. Kind of our little off scene where Nick Fury does catch a.
Yeah.
I guess Nick Fury actually caught what Ted Nugent called cat scratch.
I don't think that's the same thing. Definitely not the same thing.
Definitely not the same thing. But he gets literally scratched by Goose, who is not a cat.
Not a cat.
Say, I can't remember the exact. A Snarflegloid?
Something like that.
Flurgan.
So you can hear us.
Apparently she doesn't know what you're talking about, so she didn't hear earlier. Hi. Somebody's going to have to download the podcast this week.
Yeah.
Yes, an extra view.
So yes, Flargan, which of course comes out in that final climactic fight. And as we've seen the entire movie, we've been promised, oh, it's not just a cat. It's not a cat. And the Skrulls are terrified of it. And we're like, okay, so maybe they're just... I thought it was going to be something like, oh, well, cat pheromones are just like poisonous to Skrulls or something weird like that. And it's like, no, this is not actually a cat. It can spring huge tentacles from its mouth and inhale people whole.
It's a flurgan.
It's a flurgan. It actually is a flurgan. I thought that was just their name for cats. No,
Fury loved that cat, though.
Oh, he's amazing. The cat saved his life.
I'm ready to see where the flurgan's going to show up later in this.
Flurgan is the true hero of Endgame.
Of everything... of everything we have to look forward to in Endgame now, we all thought it was going to be, well, Captain Marvel will show up. It's like, yes, she will. But we're really interested to see where the Flurgan shows up now. Because when you just hear, meow, everybody in that whole audience is just going to pop.
Everybody says, oh, yeah, it's just going to be Ant-Man crawling up Thanos' butt and then growing in size to kill him. No. It's just going to be the Flurgan. Goose is going to just eat Thanos.
No.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Jesus, yes.
So I think... One of the last things we can talk about is the twist. I did mention it earlier with the Skrulls, who have always in the comics been presented as bad guys coming to infiltrate Earth, and that for much of the movie is how they are portrayed. They are portrayed as the bad guys. So even if you're thinking, well, the accusers are also the bad guys, but it's like maybe they're all just bad guys, and it's like, no, they seem to be decent people.
By God, King, they're both heels.
who have been fighting back. And I did like one of the lines. I don't remember the main Skrull's name who does help them out at the...
He's Australian.
Yes.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
See, you say the Skrulls, I call them the Aussies.
Yeah, they're
oi.
They're criminals. But I thought one of the things that made him sound good was towards the end, he's like, oh, my hands aren't clean either.
Right.
And it's like, no, he's not a good guy. He definitely did some shit in this war. It just, he wasn't maybe on the wrong side.
And this just convinces me that Vince McMahon has a lot to do with this, because Vince says, we don't do baby faces, we don't do heels, we do shades of gray.
Yes. Very big shades.
And basically, well,
yeah, that's true.
That's what it is. They were like, this was an ultimate kind of shades of gray movie, where, there was no...
That was an assassin team coming after Captain Marvel in the beginning of
exactly.
Skrulls. They weren't good guys.
No.
They were assassins coming to kill her.
I mean, they were basically terrorists.
Yeah.
And, but then we saw that the accusers are, they're...
Yeah.
They're not...
They're genocidal maniacs.
I mean, they're kind of genocidal maniacs, exactly. So, the terrorist... the word terrorist gets thrown out by... the people who make the rules, kind of,
Yeah.
So, some call them terrorists, some call them freedom fighters.
Sure.
But, the thing is, at the end of war, no matter what, a lot of people can look back and say, yeah, I made decisions I wouldn't normally make.
Right.
So, that's kind of where we set it.
So I did like that they didn't paint him as necessarily a good guy. Like, they did still do a lot of bad things.
Right.
It just was in the name of what they believed was good. And when you look at it, you're like, oh, no, that's a side I can get behind. Because I think one thing, and it's the reason still Black Panther is one of the better, if not the best, non-Avengers movies, is because the villain is relatable and has good motives for what he's doing, and it almost makes you sympathetic to his plight. And I think that's what happens to the Skrulls here. Even though they're not necessarily, by the end, the villains anymore, you understand their plight and you give them something.
Right.
Whereas the accuser group of Kree are just like total assholes who want to control the galaxy. And
then, of course, we know Ronan from his later interactions with the Guardians.
Dance party, bro.
What? And, Ronan is literally like maybe the most hateful character of the entire MCU at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, because we talked about before, even Thanos, the guy who has wiped out half of the world, even Thanos, you're like, well,
I understand why you want to do this. I don't agree with your methods.
It's like, you look at Thanos like, he's trying to help. It's totally, genocidal and horrible, but he's trying to do something to help everyone. It's almost like Bernie Sanders. But anyway, we don't get political on this show. No, but it is one of those, like, I'm trying to help you. I'm going to ream you in the ass while I do it, but I'm trying to help you. You know, with Ronan, it's just, no, Ronan just wants to be.
No, I just want to
Ronan just wants to run everything.
Yeah.
So, you know, Ronan's just like, fuck you, I will kill you so I can be in charge. So, you know, there is that.
So I think that was a really good reveal, though, that the Skrulls were actually sort of had very understandable motives and become the good guys when, again, we've seen in the comics, they've traditionally been purely the bad guys. So I thought that was a very nice play by them to switch it up a little bit. And so at the end of the day, that's kind of all I want to talk about. Again, we touched on Goose, the best character in the movie.
Maybe the best character in the entire universe.
Maybe. We did touch a little bit on Coulson, seeing him back pre-dead and then brought back to life in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I personally I found it very enjoyable. Just, you know, you were talking earlier about you're not a big fan of period pieces, but the 90s is just such a
yeah. When I say period pieces, I'm talking about like the 30s, 40s, 50s.
Yeah. But the 90s, see, for us, the 90s is cool because it's like nostalgic as shit.
Oh my god, the soundtrack is
was like every 90s
seriously.
Yeah,
seriously.
I will even say doing the No Doubt I'm Just a Girl song, and the fact I was like, you know it's coming, still hits really well.
Oh yeah, I mean that
was
was a very fun part. You know, just
Nirvana.
Just oh my god, blockbuster video.
Yeah.
You know, such a small thing. You know, because it's always in the news like, oh, there's one blockbuster left in the world right now, and it's in like, you know, Asslick, Montana or something like that, or Alaska or something. I actually think it's in Alaska.
Getting to having to go onto a computer and use the dial-up internet.
Yeah, having to go to like an internet cafe and then like having to find a payphone to use the payphone and the little two-way pager, which
of course
will hit the little mid-credit scene and the post-credit scene. But you know, seeing the little two-way and her kind of like, what's this? You know, just these little things that. I guess this is 1993, right?
I think so.
1993. We said 93. I mean, I was 11 years old in 1993.
I was like 6, 7.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, every damn thing that happened in there, I'm like, yep. You know, it just hit me like right in the perfection spots.
Yeah, it was really good. Coming out with that 9 Inch Nails T-shirt.
Oh yeah, as one of my best friends at life says, he's like, oh, you know, you peaked in the 90s. I'm like, yeah, it was a great decade.
I will say one thing I thought was funny. And maybe one name producer Jackie can back me up a little bit on this. When we went to go, we saw it on a Thursday afternoon. And I would say the majority.
Because I saw it like literally.
You saw it that morning
before you. Yeah. I saw it like at lunchtime, and you guys saw it that afternoon.
Our crowd, I'd say, was skewed towards probably pre-20s.
Okay.
And I wonder like how much of that hit for them.
Right, they're like, oh,
what is this? Like, if they hear the I'm Just a Girl song by No Doubt, like, do they even really know what No Doubt is? Like, do they know what these things are? I swear that I think someone actually said something about a floppy drive. Like, they actually didn't know what it was, a floppy disk.
Well, and it's one of those things, you know, now me, you know, musically for me, I don't believe in music that was made after like 2005.
That's right.
I just don't believe like 99% of it exists.
It didn't happen.
You know, I mean, to me, it's all the else. Well, you know, I grew up, I like the older stuff, but you know, so it kind of depends on the 18-year-old now, you know, do they listen to what mom and dad listen to, or, you know, is it, oh my God, that was made before 2000. How dare you?
Have you heard this cool band, retro band? They're called Pearl Jam.
Have you heard this really cool retro band? They're called Matchbox 20. Oh God, no.
Or as one of my 6th graders, we had an ongoing thing because he thought, who was the greatest band in the world? Do you remember?
No.
You serious? What's the worst band ever?
Nickelback.
Oh yeah, I remember this now.
Yeah. So we had an ongoing thing because for whatever reason he had found out who Nickelback was, so he was pretending like Nickelback was the best band in the world. So we had an ongoing
See, that's the weird thing.
battle there.
They skipped over the whole part about them being terrible. It's like here's the thing, if you go back to like their very first album when people liked them,
yeah, that was a good album.
Even their second one is like not terrible. It's not good, but it's not terrible.
Well, the fun thing,
it's not good.
Okay, not to turn this too far since we're potting, but Nickelback wasn't that bad. I mean, we all liked Nickelback when they came out. It's just, it became really, really, really popular to hate Nickelback and make fun. Kind of like it did with Creed. Let's not lie. We all liked Creed.
See, I liked Creed. I didn't really like Nickelback.
I get you. Well, sometimes you just don't like a band.
Chad Kroeger has a very punchable face.
Oh, yeah. and Scott Stapp is maybe the biggest douchebag who's ever lived at this point.
Yeah.
You know, he took that whole, man, he kind of reminds me of Jim Morrison. I'm the Lizard King reborn. So anyway, since this has now become a follow-up to
the 90s music podcast we always had.
And I always still meant to fully do it.
Let's hit the mid-credits scene.
Jesus God. Have me in the floor.
Yes, that was okay. So that was when we jump a little bit in time because we can tell by the computers in Nick Fury's office that it's a little more ahead.
That half the world's gone.
Yeah, we do see the. Well, no, this is still.
Goose was the post-credit scene.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Mid-credit scene.
Then let's go back to the mid-credit scene. I flipped them in my head. So the mid-credit scene is at Avengers base. That has been created. I forget the actual name for it. I remember they were moving everything there in Homecoming.
Right.
That was one of the
They
big
left the towers. And,
yes.
And they've got it's kind of like a base camp.
Yes. So they did that, and we go there where the pager is that we saw at the end of Infinity War.
Right.
That Nick Fury was able to get off a message of right before he vanished. So that was pretty nice to see. It's being held in a power station to keep it on and keep sending out a message at the Avengers base. Black Widow is there. Chris Evans is there. I don't know why I didn't say Scarlett Johansson. But they're all there watching it.
Yeah.
And
Ricky. War Machine's there.
Yes, Rhodey.
Rhodey, since I suddenly just could not get the right name out of my mouth.
And then all of a sudden it dies, and they're like, "Oh God, we got to get power back to it. We got to get power back to it. We got to get power back." And then all of a sudden you turn in, and there's Captain Marvel. She's back after helping the Skrulls get to a new homeworld. She's back. She heard the call, and now it's going to be very interesting to see. We did see in a I don't know if you saw it. You probably did. The latest Avengers Endgame trailer, where at the very end Stinger is Thor bringing his hammer right to him, and it whizzes right by her head, and she doesn't even move, and he's like, I like this one. Very nice moment to have that in there.
Well, now, what we're finding out, what we're hearing, the rumor.
You did mention this to me. I thought this was interesting.
God, there's so much rumor and innuendo going around.
It's the biggest movie of the year.
This might be the biggest movie of. Is it crazy to me to say this could be the biggest movie of the decade?
No. I think just because of the 10 years we've been putting into this.
Right. I mean, there is a good chance that we're going to see a lot of people who've been in our lives for a decade for the last time here.
Yeah.
You know, we've heard about contracts not being renewed and guys not re-signing. This is basically, the title is Endgame. This is the Endgame. Not that the MCU is going away, not by any means. No. But it is, what phase are we actually in now?
We would be, I think we're in 3, we'll be heading into 4.
Okay, because if you really want to look at this could be actually phase 2, where I say that this is where the original Avengers, a lot of it's going to end.
Yeah.
So, if you have lived this for a decade, this is what it's all built to.
Yeah.
This is what 10 years, 11 years have built to. So, while when the money comes back, it might be the biggest movie of the decade. It might be the biggest movie ever. They're predicting an $800 million opening weekend.
I can see that.
Hell yeah.
Because you have to. Because if you don't, you're going to get spoiled.
Yeah. I'm already planning to. I'm working that Thursday during the day, and I've got my daughter that night, so I'm already planning to get there as early as I can on Friday to go and get my freaking ticket for it as soon as AMC will let me use my stub and get it. I don't care if I have to go to Wilson. I don't care if I have to go to Greenville. Wherever I got to go, I got to go see it because we learned from Star Wars, where Harrison Ford, where Han Solo died.
Yeah, spoilers.
You can't get around this shit.
Solo dies?
Oh, jeez, we spoiled another one. Oh,
man, that's the second time you've done it.
I know, I did on the pod 1 week just to be an asshole. See, you got to protect from people like me. But the spoiler will be out there, and you can say, well, I'll get around it. And you can get around it, but I'd rather not have to.
You kind of just have to completely stay off the internet to do it.
Yeah, I'd rather not have to work to stay away from it. I want to just get on there and I want to do it. So, and then we can do our pod special next. So, this is what it's all building to, and all these pieces are coming into play. And Captain Marvel, as we learned at the end of Infinity War, Captain Marvel is the last piece that had to come in for this. And she could be the most important piece.
She could.
Because, there's a chance that Captain Marvel is going to turn into maybe the alpha going forward now when we lose.
She's the captain now.
Our alphas. But anyway, what we started to say, the rumor and innuendo going out there is that nearly all of the trailer footage that's been released is not actually in the movie.
Well, and that's kind of what they did. Like, the trailers actively lied to us in the lead up to Infinity War.
Yeah.
There's shots that just don't exist in the movie.
Exactly. And, they're giving us an idea, but they're not even giving us an idea of what's going to happen. All they're literally showing us is, you knew what had happened.
Yeah.
You saw the end of Infinity War. You know what's happened. This may be what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not saying, this is what we're going toward. This is what's going to happen.
This is our plan. It's like,
so, we've seen, I believe, 2 trailers. They've released 2 2.5 to 3 minute trailers. And the internet has melted both times. And we've done our share of watching them over and over and over and over. And, maybe some of us sit in a car and almost cry as they watch them. Let's put it this way. I don't cry at funerals. I didn't cry when my child was born. You give me a movie, oh, God, I'm going to weep. Openly.
I think, and this is something I wanted to get back to a little bit. This was something that happened to me. I remember when I walked out of this apartment to go watch Infinity War, there was just a feeling in my stomach like, I know there's going to be a shoe that drops. And so I had to spend the entirety of Infinity War just waiting for the shoe to drop. And then it fucking did. And I was like, oh my God. So and now it's going to happen again in Endgame. I'm going to go in, I'm just like, okay, When does Tony Stark bite it? When does Captain America bite it? When does Mark Ruffalo when does he bite it? Because all of them have to bite it.
I believe Thor's got to bite it.
Yeah, probably.
God, that's literally, if you want to see a grown man's heart break over a beautiful, beautiful grown man, over another man, in a completely heterosexual way, if you just want to see a heartbreak, just come watch me when Thor does. I will be an inconsolable blob of jelly at that point.
And hey, maybe they
handsome, muscular jelly that is, but still.
Maybe they do it and none of them die.
Yeah, see, that's where they really fuck us up.
Yeah, they build up all those emotions. It's like, no, we're good.
And then we'll just get something during Far From Home where it's like a news report. Oh, all 6 of the original Avengers are dead.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
Did you
what's really gonna happen?
What?
All of a sudden, it's all gonna be a dream.
If they do that, I'm walking out of the theater. Here's one thing I did say.
Are you
but
giving
the
me?
question is, who wakes up?
Are you giving me a?
Dream is it?
Tom Holland.
Let's go back in the 80s. Are you giving me a Who Shot JR deal here?
She is good.
Where suddenly Patrick Duffy... My God, if Patrick Duffy came out of a shower, that would be better than any they could ever come up with.
Oh, my God.
Hi, honey. What the fuck?
Oh, man.
If suddenly Victoria Principal just... And we're like...
No.
What's going on here?
Don't you do that to me.
Bobby!
I have wondered. Because there is something very interesting. And because we've always thought, like, Far From Home being the next movie for Spider-Man after Endgame. We know Spider-Man dies in Infinity War. We all assume he's coming back for Endgame, or for Far From Home.
Well, he's got to, obviously. We got to have Spider-Man back.
What I've always wondered, and since you brought up the thing about the trailers lying, I've wondered, did those trailers lie? Because I think when we all first heard Far From Home, because the last time we saw Spider-Man, he was on Thanos' homeworld.
Right.
That's where he died. And now we've seen from the trailers is he goes on a class trip to Europe. Well, what if that's bullshit? What if he's still on the planet? What if that's actually the dream?
And if this comes to pass, can we ever trust a Marvel trailer again?
No, I don't think we can. I don't think we can anyway.
You know what? I really think movies should do this a little more. They should just lie to you to get
Yes.
you. No, I mean, once they're
100%.
established.
No, you're right. You are absolutely right.
Once they're established. Because, for years, especially funny movies always do this. For years, we go to the movie theater, and I see the 2.5-minute trailer for The Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, Eddie, you're so funny. Oh, you're doing Richard
And that's
Simmons.
it.
You see all the funny bits, and then you get to the movie, you're like, oh, there's nothing else to this.
Yeah.
What if Marvel has cracked the code for the new generation, and they're like...
Deadpool 2 lied to us.
Yeah.
Those trailers lied.
We're like, they have cracked the code. They're like, you know what? Everyone is sick and tired of being disappointed because you've seen all the important parts in the trailers. You know what? We're going to give you some badass shit in the trailers. We're not going to put any of it.
And that was something I wish they'd done with Captain Marvel. I wish I had never seen her punch the old woman in the trailer. I wish that had been a surprise.
That would have been awesome.
But no, it was not. All right, so that was the mid-credits scene. Then we had the post-credits scene. with the vomiting up of the Tesseract, and that's what led to Avengers, the first one.
Yeah, I mean that kind of led to everything. I mean this was like an origin story for Captain Marvel, and then that post-credit scene was an origin story to everything.
Yeah. And it's weird because like it ties everything back together because we remember it fell to the bottom of the ocean in Captain America: The First Soldier.
Just Captain America.
Yeah, Captain
because
America.
It went through the plane.
And then they recover it at the end. Howard Stark recovers it, and they start working on it. And then somehow it made it out to an Air Force base to be used for interstellar travel.
Well, that's what they used it for. Was they were trying to figure out what to use. Yeah.
And then it ends up in the body of a Hagler. Yeah. It was great. Just a nice moment to just to cap off the movie. So yeah, now we're truly, actually now in the Endgame. That's where we are.
Doctor Strange.
I know.
Oh man.
So it's gonna be rough.
Wait, folks, something just to add a little levity here at the end.
Sure.
Go find James Corden on the James Corden Show. Recently, did a very fun thing where they did a Stars Star Tour, and he had about 10 of the Avengers that went on an open bus top tour around Hollywood, and he was pointing out, like, there is a coffee bean. When you say, I want a coffee, that's where some low-level assistant goes and stands in line and gets you coffee. Chris Pratt's there. What's standing in line? But Doctor Strange was up there. Benedict Cumberbatch was up there. Yeah, Paul Bettany was up there. Chris Pratt was on there. Brolin was on there. It was very good. Zoe Saldana. It's something very fun to watch. It's about 8-9 minutes. And then the little kicker is at the very end when the tour's over, suddenly Chris Hemsworth shows up. He's like, I'm here for the tour. And he said, but we said the tour was at 12. He said, no, I mean, it's between 12 and 6. Like, but it was from 12 to 2. He's like, well, it's 4. I'm here. I'd like to take my tour.
Chris Hemsworth. I'm so glad Ragnarok went kind of weird and crazy. Because him being like a funny guy is just great. Just be a dumb hot dude.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're not actually stupid, but you playing a dumb hot dude is really great.
He was literally the only like quality piece of anything in that horrendous Ghostbusters reboot. He was
never saw
because he was the dumb secretary.
Yes.
He was dumb Janine, basically. He was very funny.
Yes. I did hear that.
Basically, he was dumb hot dude.
Yeah. I'm just telling you, just be quiet and be pretty.
That's it. Just not worth watching. Still not worth watching.
But Captain Marvel was worth watching.
Oh,
and you're going to watch it again. And in fact, you already have.
Totally. I already have. In the future, in the past, I already have.
So that's going to do it for our Captain Marvel podcast, which went very long. Oh boy, this will be fun to remember and keep track of how long we can actually go on Wednesday.
Do we want to literally just like release this as its own thing?
We can.
I mean, as a pod
special,
exclusive.
Yeah,
maybe we could just start doing this through our little exclusive. Bomb Virginia!
Wow,
it's off the big wall.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll just do this as its own little thing.
Okay, so this is a pod special for you guys. We'll still release it on Thursday.
Yeah.
It's
a companion piece.
Yeah, it's a companion piece. Not like last week when I called it episode 254, even though it was clearly episode 255.
But this will not count as episode 257.
No, this will be episode 256B.
256 and a half.
There you go. So, for my Colin Cry and Wes Bradshaw, anything else you want to add? I always ask you, so I might as well do that.
No.
Even though I'll ask you again Wednesday.
Yeah. I mean, as far as Marvel, this is our Marvel pod. I think we just kind of covered it.
Yeah.
And folks, this is two fans who aren't giant Marvel nerd boys. So, we're not going so in depth where we're losing our mind. But hey, I mean, we're just two people who like the movies.
They're great movies, and it's all coming to an end, sort of, in less than a month. So I'm sure we'll be back once we compose ourselves to do that. But for now, this has been a mini pod special add-on edition, quality add-on podcast episode. Yes, of the Affordable Fair podcast, still presented by NGSC Sports and Alicia's Pillows and Things. If you need a pillow to cry in when at the end of Avengers Endgame, go to Alicia's Pillows and Things on Facebook. And so Wes Bradshaw's now going to play us out with, I have no idea what you're going to do. Yeah. Did you ever come up with a new song?
song. This is my ringtone now, and I like leaving it there.
There you go.
So one more time for you guys on the way
Yeah.
out.
Please don't sue us, Marvin. It's less than 10 seconds. It's fine.
This show is sponsored by Alicia's Pillows and Things. Check out the Facebook page, Alicia's Pillows and Things, where you will find home decor you will not be able to resist at prices anybody can afford. Check out the pillows and stools of your favorite sports teams. Maybe you want a set of your kid's favorite cartoon or movie character. You can also get full body and neck pillows as well. Log on to NGSCsports.com and go to the Alicia's Pillows and Things tab on the homepage to complete your order. It makes a great gift for Christmas at an affordable price. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on NGSCsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.